Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. I got a good one today. I looked at the Amber Heard video and oh man, that's what prompted me to do to post a survey on my community page, and she needs to take a chill pill and be still and give people time to relax and just to get over the outrageous foolishness that she has bestowed on us. I mean, I think we all ought to sue her for defaming our ears with that foolishness, but that's just my 2 cents. But I looked a little bit at the interview and I had to stop. I said, okay, let me go ahead and look at the entire video with all of you, and I'm going to try my very best not to get upset or laugh over her foolishness, because it's outrageous. You know, okay, on one hand, I feel kind of bad for her. On the other hand, I'm like, she's a gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to try hard not to laugh too much. But she is outrageous. And the sad part about it is this. Despite what you may think about Johnny Depp, whatever you may think about him, being foolish for leaving a good marriage, a good relationship, to be with a beautiful young 20-something. He's in his 50s, she's in her 20s, and he sees eye candy. Eye candy, let me show her off. I love you, Vanessa, but I'm having a midlife crisis, and yeah, I know. I wish he could possibly. You might be thinking, I wish I could take those years back. What was I thinking of? I lost my fingertip. I got beat up, ridiculed, lied on, treated bad. But okay, I'm gonna stop. Let's check this video out. Okay, here we go.
How could it? Surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
The real-life drama of the defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex-husband Johnny Depp.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. No, she didn't just say that. She's gonna stick. Oh, she's gonna stick with that. She's gonna ride that until the brakes fall off. Okay. There are people who can look and say, okay, I messed up. I'm going to do better. But there are other people who refuse to take an ounce, a smidget of responsibility. Not her. Oh, man. Ooh, life is going to be so rough on her. I mean, it is now. It's going to get worse as she gets older. Mm-hmm.
The vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this.
People online and crowds outside the courthouse made it clear where they stood.
Okay, wait, let me pause this.
Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying burn the witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized.
Can you put into words how that felt?
Okay, wait.
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity. I felt.
Okay. This is too much. Whoa. How do you unpack this? How do you unpack the level of delusion this woman is spouting out? Okay. Now, if I'm hearing her correctly, or if I'm hearing her correct, she's saying the jury couldn't make an informed decision because of social media, not because of the evidence that she presented. That had nothing to do with it. It just simply had to do with the social media and people coming out and supporting Johnny Depp. Or maybe it's simply because we know that you weren't telling the truth and it was apparent. Now, people that lie come out with a lie that's not only believable, but one that can, let's say, be maintained over a period of time. And you can hold that lie. You can sit there and say, okay, my cat has orange tinted fur. And you look at the cat and you're like, well, you could possibly say that it's an orangish tint. It's more of a tan, but that you can get away with. But when you tell these types of lies, I mean, these lies are so far out, so way out there, that you expect the average person to believe. I'm going to tell a lie like her. Me, Big Girl Diary, spun around and did a dragonfly kick, spin around and hit Johnny in the lip and came down on my feet. Now, we all know that's a damn lie, but she expects, and then I would expect the jury to believe that. That is what she's saying. And it's outrageous. And then when she talks about her humanity, whoa. Look, when you, Amber, or anyone like Amber, decides to rip a person of who they are and demean a person's character, demean them as being a human being, any and everything what they do just isn't correct in your world paradigm. And then if they don't fit in that, you're going to just crush them. And then when they can't take it anymore and said, I have enough, and sue you, and then people see who you really are, then you talk about, oh, my humanity. Nah, heifer, you have left your humanity when you married him on that lie. You left your humanity. Just my 2 cents. Oh, despicable, disgraceful. And the worst part about it is I believe by her continuing on this, she can get sued again for defamation. You know, if you make a mistake once, you learn from it. But if you keep on with that, knucklehead.
Less than human.
Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
That's a great question. I wish I could say yes to that. I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't tell me, look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
Do you find
Wait,
that
wait,
Mr.
wait,
Depp
wait,
has
wait, wait,
proven
wait,
all the elements
wait,
of defamation? Answer.
wait, wait, wait. Look, the blind can see that you were lying. The deaf could hear that you were lying. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. And then you still want to blame social media, not what came out of your mouth. Not that your evidence was put in front of a jury and they went through it and saw, nah, I don't believe you.
After the 6-week trial, the jury found Heard defamed Depp in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed in which she wrote she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never mentioned her ex-husband by name. Depp.
Okay, this right here really gets me. Oh my, this right here really gets me because Elaine and Amber are suggesting for us to believe that this op-ed had nothing to do with Johnny Depp. Now, there is, you don't have to say a person's name in order for other people to not know with whom you're speaking of. She's talking about she was in her last relationship. She was physically abused. All this other stuff was done to her. Well, who else was she with? She was married to Johnny. So that automatically falls on him. Now, she could have been talking about Elon or somebody else, but everybody knows that she was with Johnny. We didn't know that she was running around doing the wave with other people. Oh, Lord have mercy. Just, I'm not going to let her give me a headache.
Allegations in court. Heard won just one of 3 claims in her countersuit against her ex-husband. That verdict came less than 2 years after a judge ruled against Depp in a similar case in the UK, in which he sued a British newspaper that called him a wife beater.
There was another trial handled it with the same, dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And that was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into, the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't know if she really gets what the. Okay. Yeah, I know that. First Amendment rights. I don't think that she truly gets the gravity of what's being said, or if she's trying to memorize a response, or what it is. She seems robotic to me. But even just the response is. Where's her PR firm? somebody needs to come help Amber because she's on that plane. It's on fire and she's getting ready to hit the ground. And she needs somebody to come help her out big time, like now, because this is crazy. Not crazy. This is wild. But she's getting ready to say something. I bet you to know what it's going to be. You can't go into a movie theater and scream fire. That's what they talk about in law. The first 2 years in law school. Oh, you can't go in there and scream fire. Oh man.
And you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke.
No, you
I
didn't.
spoke it to power, and I paid the price.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers. I'm the performer. I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating that, or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress. So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were...
Okay. Oh, this. This is weird. Beyond weird. Look, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything of that sort, but this woman, how do I do this? Okay, I can't get it right. She got a lot of problems, and a lot. This is wild. Just listening to her. It's like I'm looking at her responding to the questions, and as she's responding, it's like I can't quite put my finger on it. That that there is, like, she's there but she's not there. Okay, let me scratch that because I'm trying to gather my thoughts and identify what I'm looking at.
Responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying...
Negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
Okay,
He said
okay.
He never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
What
wait a
about the
minute.
witnesses who said they...
Okay, this is too much. This is too much. She, you know, it. Uh, I think she's trying to get sued again because apparently she hasn't learned the first time. It seems like that she's trying to get sued again, and she's still defaming him, even proving that all the info or all the evidence that she offered from her and even the poop she left in the bed. This is troubling. Very troubling. I feel sorry, more sorry than I did for Johnny from before. Now I'm like, I'm glad you made it out. This is wild. And I gotta give it up to Savanna just to listen to this foolishness and not yell at her and throw her out. But,
have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who sat there.
and
When I
lied.
asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was, because she never took responsibility for anything she did in the marriage.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I
Right there.
will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
Wow. Oh man, there is so much to unpack in that. And I'm sorry for letting a little bit loose the way I did. Okay. When a person lives in denial, they create a world to where they live in this delusion. And once that delusion is poked or pushed a little, they come out swinging like she did. As long as everything is going her way, it fits into that world of delusion or that world that she built for herself. And let me give you an example. I remember a couple of years ago, I was substitute teaching, and I did a long-term Spanish assignment. And when this young woman this young girl walked in, all this traffic noise. She walks in, and I do a little icebreaker. Everybody talk a little bit about themselves, and she says to me, I don't remember how we got to the point to where she said this, but she says, I only respect people that respect me. She only respects people that respects her. And I said, okay, so just so that we can be on the same page, what does that mean? And she said, well, as long as you respect me. She never defined it, you know? And so as I'm teaching, she starts being disrespectful, and I stopped and I said, okay, let's back up for a second. In the beginning of the class, beginning of the school year, you said to me, I only respect people that respect me. I mean, and she says, yeah. And I said, what have I done to disrespect you to get the treatment that I'm getting? She said nothing. And I said, so then in other words, then I can treat you the way you're treating me based on what you're saying. She scratched her head like, no, I respect people that respect me. And I just said, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. I want you, and I'm going to grade it. And I said, everybody do this. Define respect, write it down, the dictionary, and then put it in your own words what it means. They weren't happy, but I was trying to prove a point. How this goes to Amber, within her world, she treats people the way she wants to. Oh my goodness. Wait for this noise to go past. Okay, I didn't think that would ever go. But okay, back to what I was saying. And within that world that she created for herself, as long as she receives the respect, but she's not going to give it back. But if you touch it a little bit, then she explodes. Now, this is simply what I think, looking here and listening to the trial and how she can rationalize anything and to make her the victim, because in her world she's innocent, which the delusion that she created for herself, she's a victim, and anything that happens to her is not her fault. It's someone else's fault. And that is dangerous. That's dangerous, because if she feels slighted, just a little slight, it's going to come after you. As one person said, if you throw a pebble, I'm going to throw a brick. If you throw a brick, I'm going to throw a boulder. But now I meant to move here. But wow. I got to give it to Savanna Guthrie. She composed herself, because that would have been difficult for me to do. I could see myself yelling at her, take responsibility, or throwing some holy water on her and having it. Let me take that back. Okay, wow. On that note, I'm not even going to do a conclusion, because I have a funny feeling this is going to be ongoing. Amber, I believe that she's not going to take the chill pill and be still and just lay back and let everything blow over and then reemerge. I just don't see her doing. I see her as one of those types of people that no matter, she can be wronger than two left shoes. She's still going to be out there in your face, like you know how you have those family members and you get tired of them quick and you want them to leave and they refuse to leave. Yeah, that's her. All right. I want to thank all my subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you to passerbys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like, subscribe, and most of all, I want to thank you for stopping by.